Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is scheduled to make a state visit to Japan on May 26. Japanese media reports, as stated by GSOMIA, indicate that the two nations intend to elevate their current strategic partnership to a comprehensive strategic partnership, thereby deepening their security cooperation. A key aspect of this enhanced relationship will be the initiation of formal negotiations to conclude a General Security of Military Information Agreement, GSOMIA, which facilitates the exchange of classified defense intelligence. This initiative is primarily aimed at strengthening trilateral cooperation among Japan, the United States, and the Philippines, specifically in the context of countering China's growing influence in the region. The two countries have already signed a Reciprocal Access Agreement, AAEA, elevating their ties to a quasi-alliance and enabling expanded joint military exercises. For the first time this April, the Japan Self-Defense Forces dispatched 1,400 personnel to participate in the Balikatan multinational joint exercise with the U.S. and the Philippines. Discussions will also cover expanding defense equipment exports following Japan's recent lifting of restrictions on certain weapon types. A defense working group is expected to be formed to explore providing the Philippine Navy with Abukuma-class frigates and TC-90 training aircraft. Should Japan and the Philippines finalize a GSOMIA, it would complement the existing U.S.-Philippines GSOMIA, effective 2024. Establishing a robust trilateral intelligence-sharing architecture. This would mark Japan's first such agreement with a Southeast Asian nation. Additionally, leaders are expected to endorse cooperation on Power Asia, a Japan-led energy cooperation framework for Southeast Asia. Japan will assist the Philippine National Oil Company with fuel reserve plans utilizing the area budget. JG Press reports that Italy and Spain have urged the European Union to impose sanctions on Israel's far-right National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir. This appeal follows Ben-Gvir's publication of a video depicting the harsh treatment of activists from a Gaza-bound flotilla. The activists, detained at sea by Israeli forces, were shown kneeling with their hands bound and foreheads to the ground at the southern port of Ashdod, prompting a significant global outcry. Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani specifically requested sanctions, citing the seizure of activists in international waters, harassment, humiliation, and violations of basic human rights. His comment came shortly after Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni deemed the treatment intolerable and demanded an apology from Israel. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez echoed these sentiments, calling the images unacceptable and stating that Spain would not tolerate mistreatment of its citizens. Sanchez had previously announced a ban on Ben-Gvir entering Spain. Ireland's Prime Minister Michael Martin also condemned the treatment of EU citizens and Ben-Gvir's conduct, urging the EU chief for further action, including discussions at the next European Council meeting for potential bans on Israeli settlement products and the suspension of parts of the EU's association agreement with Israel, which includes a human rights clause. The United Kingdom also summoned Israel's most senior diplomat over the inflammatory video. A senior official from the United Arab Emirates, UAE, stated on May 22 that the chances of the United States and Iran reaching an agreement to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global energy shipping route, are around 50%. Anwar Gargash, the UAE's presidential advisor, commented that Iranian officials have missed many opportunities over the years because they often overestimate their leverage. I hope they do not repeat the same mistake this time. The article highlights the UAE's efforts to mediate tensions between the US and Iran before the recent conflict, but also notes that the UAE has been targeted by Iranian missile and drone attacks. Despite the current ceasefire between the US and Iran, a drone attack, suspected to be Iranian, occurred near a nuclear power plant in Abu Dhabi on the 17th. This news is from Zio The Liberty Times, Shrouz. A makeshift Ebola hospital in Rwanda, Democratic Republic of Congo, was destroyed by fire after family members of a deceased Ebola victim attempted to forcibly remove his body. The incident, reported by MetroQ UK, occurred in Ituri, near the city of Bunia, where relatives lobbed stones and set 2 hospital tents ablaze. 6 patients were receiving treatment in these tents, and at least 1 hospital worker was injured before military protection was deployed. The deceased was a local footballer, whose family and some community members believe died of typhoid, not Ebola, calling the virus a white man's invention or a money grab by NGOs. This widespread misinformation is a major challenge in containing the lethal Bundibugyo strain, which has killed at least 130 people in the DRC, with suspected cases potentially reaching 1,000. The World Health Organization has declared it a public health emergency of international concern, and cases have also spread to Uganda. Authorities have suspended transport between the 2 countries to curb further spread. People's Daily Online reports that China is rapidly industrializing computing power, aiming to transform it into a measurable and priceable commodity akin to water or electricity. This strategic push is evidenced by the establishment of a token factory in Wuxi by electronics firm Hanflex. This industrial-scale facility, powered by domestic chips and green energy from Qinghai Province, is designed to mass-produce AI tokens, which are fundamental units of large language model output. Concurrently, major telecom operators like China Telecom and China Mobile have begun selling token packages directly to consumers and businesses, with affordable entry-level plans. This move is expected to democratize access to AI computing resources, lowering costs and technical barriers for small and medium-sized enterprises. Industry experts note that this initiative will accelerate the spread of AI applications, integrate communications, computing power, and AI, and open new opportunities for the digital economy. China's average daily token calls surged to over 140 trillion in March, indicating massive growth in AI adoption. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.